Oh man, it's nice. It's been so cold.
No more coats. Tell you what, buddy, we're probably going to have to get some kind of sunscreen on. Luckily, we got some shade from this palm tree here. But
yeah, it's beautiful out here.
Woo, I'm going to take a seat.
Waves, it's just pretty. Pretty. I've been longing for the beach, just to relax. It's just nice, relaxing.
I saw you taking your mask off on the airplane over here.
I took it off.
Stewardess didn't care for that too much, did she?
They got a little bit upset.
What are
you going to do? What are you going to do?
Come on, I mean, you got to.
I mean, you're either a masker or you're not a masker.
What happens when you got to pick your nose? Is what I wonder.
I don't know. You ever did you know the road where Paul was walking? He was on the road to Damascus. That's why I just took my mask off. Damascus.
Damascus. Oh, that's right. That's right. His eyes were open. Actually, they were closed. They were open, and he was maskless. Let me ask you this: is there any stipulation in the Bible that says something about wearing a mask?
I've been doing a lot of studying on this. Bible masking. And I can't find it.
I don't know. Scripture doesn't hold. Mask wearing, is that a biblical... I don't want to get too far into that.
Well, but you know what? If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Do it. If you don't want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Maybe you don't wear a mask. I don't know.
So
is it personal preference? What's the preference? Is it government preference? What do you got to do? You got to wear a mask. If they say wear a mask, because that's what they say to do.
I think that would be the Jesus thing. I think that Jesus would look to others. You know, maybe would look at others and say,
you know, that takes me back to my childhood, and I wear my John 3:16 bracelet. But they had those bracelets, and everybody had one. It was WWJD. What would Jesus do? So I guess that's the question you ask yourself. What would Jesus do?
You have to think about that. Hey, speaking of that, I was thinking whenever I saw your daughter run off a table into your arms, and it made me think of a verse in the Bible. Let me pull this verse out here.
That little girl, she is just a handful. She's a good time. Tell you what, she'll run and just jump off the landing to the stairwell and just dive into her daddy's arms.
I mean, she's got there's no fear. It is just, when you said what she has no fear, it really, she just has 100% trust in you. Like, there's no doubt in her head what's going to happen. There's no doubt that when she runs off that table, she's going to land in your arms and she'll be perfectly safe.
I can tell you what, there's not many men I trust like that.
Honestly, there's not many people, period, that I trust like that.
So who do you trust?
That is true. I want to read Matthew 18. This is where they are asking, who is the greatest? And in the beginning of Matthew 18, it says, at that time the disciples came to Jesus asking, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And calling to him a child, Jesus put a child in the midst of them and said, truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like a child, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like a child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now, Jeremy, I don't know about you, but this is what seeing Anna Lee run off and jump into your arms reminded me of. But it didn't when I first read this, when we first started reading into Matthew a while back. Having faith like a child reminded me it would be silly-hearted, naive, foolish, uninformed. The opposite of the way I would think that you would want faith. You'd want a well-informed person to be a faithful person. And I don't, after seeing Anna Lee just trust, it really struck me watching her. Is a verse for the week that I've been thinking about. That was what, Tuesday? It was Tuesday we saw it. It was on our thing. So Tuesday, since Tuesday, I mean, it's Sunday now. It's really been in my head. I heard it like this, an interpretation of what Jesus is talking about, being humble as a child. No one will enter the kingdom unless you have being as humble as his child. The humility of a child consists of a childlike trust, vulnerable and having the inability to advance his or her own causes apart from help, direction, resources of a parent. For me, as you get older, it's good to start having your independence, and it's good to start making decisions on your own. As a matter of fact, I think as a parent, you probably expect that from like Taylor and Caleb. As the older they get, they should be making their own decisions. But I think sometimes maybe we get to a point that we think we can just rely on ourselves.
I think we rely on ourselves too much. You know, when I look at Annalie, and I know she'll jump. She'll jump right in my arms. She'll jump off anything. You know, some of my kids, they didn't want to jump into my arms. They were a little lenient when they were, you know. And you notice that as they get older and older and older, they become more lenient. They don't want to jump. They're not ready to jump into the arms of a father. You know. But at 2 years old, what do I got to lose? Because I don't know the consequence of not trusting. I don't know the consequence of not. He's telling me it's okay. My dad's telling me it's okay. That's what my father says. It's okay to do this, so I'm going to do it.
They trust you.
So they trust
you.
So what about us? You know, we get older. We're adults. You know, we get more and more
skeptical.
What are we going to do? Who are we going to trust? Who are we going to put our trust in? Are we willing to jump? Are we willing to jump off that ledge? You know, are we willing to jump into the arms of our Father? You know, we have to make wise decisions. We wouldn't want to go say, okay, Jesus is at the bottom of this bridge. I'm going to jump off this bridge and he's going to catch me. You know, that's not that's the foolishness. I like that. That's a good way to put it. But when we jump into a situation, or we jump into, you know, whatever we're going through, and we take Jesus with us, and we say, Jesus is waiting on me at that other side. I have a Father in heaven who loves me, who's willing to be there for me, and he will catch me if I fall. You know, not necessarily the physical falling. You know, we're not going to talk about the physical fall. We do the trust fall. You know, I've done some trust falls at CIY with my youth.
There's a reason you do them.
You get some older teenage boys in there, they might be like, ha ha ha, we got a little trick up our sleeve, and they just move out of the way and then you fall on your face. They didn't do that to me. So I trusted them. I trusted my teens. So it's just like trusting our Father in heaven. It may not be in the physical form of trusting when you fall over, but it's in the form of trusting when you fall spiritually, when you fall mentally, when you fall into that brokenness, to know that he will be there to pick up pieces and walk you through.
We're really, when reading that, having childlike faith, I like that someone put a settled trust, being that my trust in Jesus, my trust in God is already settled. Whatever comes after that comes maybe to skew that, it won't, because my trust is already settled. I'm ready to jump off what looks like dangerous, looks unknown, what looks scary. I'm already trusting that when I know that I'm doing the right thing, that I can jump off of that ledge and I'll be caught. I like that settled trust.
When I think of settled trust, I think of calmness. It makes me think of this beach. It's calm. It's tranquil. It's just calm. It's just like the beach. It's settled. You know. But what if a hurricane comes? What if a storm comes? You know, what if the winds start to blow?
Or when they do.
When they do. Then it's not settled, but we still remember this is what it looked like. It's this trust. It's looking at it this way and remembering this is what it'll go back to.
Or maybe we already have it settled in our mind that we trust you no matter when the storm comes or when it isn't. It's already a settled matter of being, we trust you.
Yeah,
you know, because sometimes our own understanding won't make that happen. Sometimes our own understanding pulls us away from God. You know, I mean, I see that more and more in the culture and science of it tries to pull you away, your own understanding.
It's going to pull you into something that's not this beach.
Right.
It'll pull you into that dark place.
There's clouds over yonder you can't see.
You'll be under that water and you can't breathe. It's like you can't breathe because that water's filling your lungs, that liquid, that maybe it's emotion, maybe it's fear, maybe it's anxiousness, maybe it's depression, maybe it's anger, maybe it's resentment, you know, some sort of anxiety, maybe it's, you know, just issues in family, in relation, whatever it may be. It's that fills you up. But again, coming back to sitting on a beach in that calm, tranquil, settled trust in Jesus, that he is here, that he loves us, he cares for us, he wants a relationship with us.
I think I'd like to leave until we go into this water here, leave this little talk here with I would like to ask you guys to look at Proverbs, 3rd chapter. Just the whole 3rd chapter of Proverbs is about trusting God. But 3, 5 through 6 really sums it up for me. Amen. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in with all your heart. That means childlike faith. Annalie trusts in her father with all her heart. When she jumps off of there, she's going to be fine. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And do not lean on your own understanding. I lean on my own understanding a lot. Jesus is saying, don't lean on your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. So I love it. Like, even though that path, this COVID path, that thankfully we're out of it here on the beach, but this path, it looks pretty crooked to me. It looks like it goes around bends that I can't tell. But if you don't lean on our own understanding that this thing's like all the dangers that you hear, if you don't lean on that and you trust, I think our paths can start to become more straight. At least with us. I don't know.
I know what you're saying. Just stay on that straight. The spiritual path is straight and narrow. It has to be a straight line. But the worldly path, the carnal path, the path of man has these winding, twisting turns. So the body takes those winding, twisting turns. The mind takes those turns. But the spiritual path has to be that straight, narrow path. That path to Jesus, that path to heaven, that path to God.
How about you say, last one in the water is a dirty
let's go! What in the world have you came up with this time, Jake?
Wednesday! What happened on Wednesday? Hey, we got a challenge for you. Make the best snowman possible. Send it in to Starla on Facebook.
Just send in your picture, send it to her, make a big snowman, put some decorations on it. Why is it so cold when we were just at the beach?
Let's get inside. I can't do this.